So, you've got a swimming pool. That's awesome. It's basically a giant personal water park right in your backyard. But with great power comes great responsibility. And in this case, that responsibility is making sure your pool isn't secretly turning into a giant petri dish or a chemical soup that stings your eyes. That's where testing your pool's chlorine and pH levels comes in. It sounds super complicated, like you need a chemistry degree, but I promise you it's not. Keeping these two things balanced is the absolute key to a clean, safe, and comfortable swim. Too little chlorine, and you're swimming with all sorts of nasty germs. Too much, and you might as well be swimming in bleach. And the pH? That little number affects everything from how well your chlorine works to how your skin feels. The good news is, you don't need a fancy lab or a white coat to become a master of your pool's chemistry. In fact, over the years, some really clever people have come up with incredibly simple ways for anyone to do this. We're talking methods so easy, you can do them in less time than it takes to put on sunscreen. From simple color-changing strips to high-tech gadgets that connect to your phone, there's a method that fits your style and budget. Today, we're going to break it all down, step by step. I'm going to show you the science behind each method, how they work, and which one might be the best for you. By the end of this video, you'll not only know to test your pool water, but you'll understand you're doing it. You'll be able to look at your pool with a newfound confidence, knowing exactly what's going on beneath that beautiful shimmering surface. So grab your sunglasses, because we're about to dive into the surprisingly fascinating world of pool water testing. We're going to turn this seemingly boring chore into a simple, satisfying part of your summer routine. Let's get started! Alright, first up, we have the OG of pool testing, the workhorse, the tried and true test strip. You've definitely seen these before. They're these little plastic strips with a few colored pads on the end. The science here is actually pretty elegant in its simplicity. Each one of these little pads is impregnated with a specific chemical reagent that's designed to react and change color when it comes into contact with certain levels of chemicals in your water. In this case, chlorine and pH. Think of it like a tiny, disposable chemistry experiment that gives you results in seconds. They're cheap, they're fast, and they're a fantastic starting point for any pool owner. So, how do you actually use one? The process is so simple, it almost feels like you're cheating. First, you want to get a good water sample. Don't just dip it right by the edge where the water is stagnant. You want to walk to about the middle of the pool and dip your arm in, about elbow deep. This gives you a much more representative sample of what's going on in the main body of water. You just dip the strip in for a second, pull it straight out. Don't flick it or shake it like a Polaroid picture. That can actually mess up the reading by causing the colors to bleed into each other. You just hold it level for about 15 seconds. During that 15 seconds, the magic is happening. The reagents on the pads are reacting with your pool water, and you'll literally see them changing color right before your eyes. It's like a secret message from your pool revealing its chemical state. Once the time is up, you'll immediately compare the colors on your strip to the color chart that's printed right on the side of the bottle. You just slide the strip along the chart until you find the colors that match up. It's a simple game of color matching, and it gives you a surprisingly good snapshot of your pool's health. Now for the numbers you're looking for free chlorine, which is the good germ-killing kind of chlorine, you want to be in the sweet spot of 1 to 3 parts per million, or ppm. For pH, which measures how acidic or basic your water is, the ideal range is between 7.2 and 7.6. This narrow pH window is crucial because if it's too high or too low, it dramatically reduces the effectiveness of your chlorine. So even if you have enough chlorine, it might not be doing its job. These strips give you both readings at once, making it a super efficient first line of defense. Okay, so test strips are great for a quick daily check-in. But what if you want to get a little more precise? What if you're a data nerd like me and you want to feel like a real scientist? Then you, my friend, are ready to graduate to the liquid test kit. This is the next level up in accuracy. Instead of comparing colored pads, you're creating colored water samples. These kits are the gold standard for many pool pros because they tend to give more distinct, easier to read results, and they aren't as susceptible to being stored improperly or getting ruined by a bit of moisture like strips can be. The kit itself looks a little more intimidating, I'll admit. You've got this plastic case with a two-sided vial, which is called a comparator, and a couple of little dropper bottles filled with liquids. These liquids are your reagents. The one with the red cap, phenol red, is for testing pH. and the one with the yellow cap, OTO, or sometimes DPD, is for testing chlorine. It's a bit more involved than the dip and read method of the strips, but the payoff is a more reliable reading, which is critical when you're making adjustments to your pool's chemistry. You're not just guessing at a color, you're creating a very specific hue. So here's the procedure. Just like with the strips, you'll start by getting a good water sample from about elbow deep in the middle of the pool. You'll fill both sides of that plastic comparator vial up to the indicated fill line. Now here comes the fun part. On the pH side, you'll add the specified number of drops of the phenol red reagent, usually it's 5 drops. And on the chlorine side, you'll add 5 drops of the OTO or DPD reagent. Cap the vial securely, and then you just gently invert the vial a few times to mix it all up. Don't shake it violently. A few gentle turns are all you need to get the reagents to react with the water. Immediately, you'll see the water in the vials transform. The pH side will turn somewhere on a spectrum from yellow to red, and the chlorine side will turn a shade of yellow. Now, you just hold the comparator up to a light source, daylight is best, and look at the colors through the clear plastic. The comparator has a color scale printed right alongside the vials, making it easy to match your sample to the closest color and get your reading. It takes a minute longer than a test strip, but the clarity of the result often gives pool owners a lot more confidence when it comes time to add chemicals. If matching colors feels a little too subjective for you and you want to remove all the guesswork, then welcome to the digital age of pool testing. This is where we leave the color charts behind and get a cold, hard number. Digital pool testers are these sleek little gadgets that look a bit like a thermometer, and honestly, they're designed for one thing: precision. They use a technology called colorimetry or electrochemical sensors to measure the chemical properties of your water and display the results as a number on an LCD screen. There's no "is that more of a peach or a light orange?" It's just 7.4. Done. The core principle behind many of these digital testers is actually fascinating. For the colorimeter types, you still use a reagent to change the color of a water sample. But instead of you eyeballing it, the device shines a specific wavelength of light through the sample. A sensor on the other side measures exactly how much light was absorbed by the colored water. Since different concentrations of chlorine or different pH levels create slightly different colors that absorb different amounts of light, the device can use that data to calculate an incredibly precise reading. It's basically taking the same basic chemistry from the liquid kit and adding a layer of robotic precision. Using one of these is ridiculously easy. You typically start by turning it on and getting a baseline reading of a plain water sample from your pool to zero out the device. This calibrates it. Then you add the appropriate reagent, usually from a little packet or tablet, to that same water sample. You pop it back into the tester, and within seconds, bam! You get a digital readout of your free chlorine or pH level down to a 1/10 or even a 100th of a decimal point. It completely eliminates any human error associated with color perception or bad lighting. The other type uses an electrochemical sensor. For these, you literally just dip the end of the pen-style tester into the pool water, and the sensor directly measures the ion activity to determine the pH or the oxidation reduction potential for chlorine. This is the absolute fastest method, giving you an instant reading with no reagents required at all. The trade-off is that these sensors need to be stored properly and calibrated regularly to remain accurate. But for pure, unadulterated, give me the number now speed and convenience. They are completely unmatched. Okay, we've gone from simple strips to precise digital readers. But what if we could combine the ease of strips with the accuracy of a digital device, and then have all that data tracked and managed right on the one device we carry everywhere? Our smartphones. This is the latest evolution in pool care, and it is seriously cool. There are now smart testing systems that leverage the powerful camera and processing power in your pocket to give you expert-level analysis of your pool water. It's like having a pool professional on call 24/7. There are a couple of ways this works. The most common system uses special test strips, similar to the ones we looked at in Chapter 1. You perform the same dip and wait procedure, but instead of squinting at the bottle to compare colors, you open an app on your phone. The app will bring up a special card with color calibration squares on it. You place the wet test strip on the card and then use your phone's camera to take a picture. This is where the magic happens. The app's algorithm analyzes the exact color of each pad on your strip. Because the app is also analyzing the calibration colors on the card in the same photo, It can account for shadows, different lighting conditions, and the specific characteristics of your phone's camera. This allows it to get a far more accurate and consistent reading than the human eye ever could. It then instantly gives you a precise numerical reading for not just chlorine and pH, but often for things like alkalinity, cyanuric acid, and hardness as well. It takes all the ambiguity out of reading a test strip, but it gets even better. Once the app has your results, it doesn't just show you the numbers. It tells you what they mean. It will say, your pH is high, and then calculate the exact amount of pH reducer you need to add to your specific pool volume to bring it back into balance. Some systems even have digital sensors that connect to your phone via Bluetooth, completely bypassing strips and giving you instant tracked results. All your tests are logged, creating a history you can track over time. This is the ultimate data-driven approach to pool care, making it almost foolproof. So there you have it, 4 different ways to decode the chemistry of your swimming pool, from the simple and classic to the high-tech and connected. We've seen that whether you're using a 15-second test strip, a precise liquid kit, a digital reader, or a smart app on your phone, the goal is exactly the same: to achieve that perfect balance of chlorine and pH. Understanding what's in your water is the single most important thing you can do as a pool owner. It's what transforms your pool from just a body of water into a safe, sparkling, and inviting oasis for you, your family, and your friends all summer long. The key to all of this, no matter which method you choose, is consistency. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It's a small, regular habit that prevents much bigger problems down the road. You should really get in the habit of testing your free chlorine levels every day or two, especially during the peak of summer when the sun is beating down and the pool is getting a lot of use. For pH, checking it 2 or 3 times a week is usually plenty. And always test after a big pool party or a heavy rainstorm, as those events can throw your water chemistry way out of whack in a hurry. Ultimately, mastering your pool's water chemistry isn't about being a chemist. It's about being an observant and caring owner. By taking just a few minutes each week, you're ensuring that every single time someone jumps into your pool, they're having the best and safest experience possible. So pick the method that feels right for you. Make it part of your routine, and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing your backyard masterpiece is perfectly balanced. Thanks for watching, and here's to a season full of perfect swim days.